so we can speak loud enough so everybody can hear you and so I can hear you.
How was your experience as a teacher at Hyde Park Academy?
Oh, it was great. Almost, that's when I say that Jeff Ford level, they didn't want them there. So almost everyone above that was going to go to college. Not just teachers college, but to Yale and Harvard and Princeton and Wellesley, University of Chicago. It was one of the best public high schools at that time in the country. University of Chicago professors sent their children to Hyde Park High School. It wasn't an academy yet. But that changed because people began to take their children out of Hyde Park for safety reasons, particularly boys, young males. So now I understand it is recovering academy, and it is preparing the students for college, university. Anyone from Hyde Park? Is that true, what I'm saying? Huh? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry, my hearing is bad. Did you say yes? Yeah, the academy is preparing for college, isn't it? Okay. But then, at that time, when I was teaching there, 90% of all graduates went on to some college, and not junior colleges or community colleges. They went to universities like the University of Illinois, University of Chicago, things like that. They went to universities, 90%. Now that's a long time ago, so things have changed quite a bit. But I understand it is returning to be a good, safe school. I don't know. Any other comments or questions? Some of you folks out there help me hear these questions because the old man's. Go ahead.
Were you excited to be asked to organize the Chicago conference?
Pardon? Say it again.
Were you very excited to be asked to organize the Chicago 100 for the March on Washington?
Were you excited to be asked to organize the March on?
Oh, yes. Yes, and that's another thing. I was teaching at Hyde Park at that time. And most of my students helped me to organize the Chicago contingent, the Chicago group for the March on March. And we, on the trains that we had the children of Pullman porters at Hyde Park, and the fathers helped to get the railroad trains to take us to Washington. And we had more than 3,000 people from Chicago just on those trains. Famous people like Mahalia Jackson. Any of you ever hear of Mahalia Jackson? The gospel singer, the great gospel singer. She was on that train. Studs Terkel, famous person for taking oral histories, and many, many, many other people. Oscar Brown, the father of Maggie Brown. By the way, Oscar Brown came to this church to try and help the Blackstone Rangers see that they were doing the wrong thing. He was a very dedicated performer, and his daughter, Maggie Brown, is busy trying to help the gangs to go away. Okay, you have some more?
Oh, yeah. Do you see the community or Chicago as a whole getting any better?
In places, yes. For example, right here in Woodlawn, my friends who lived in Woodlawn during the bad old days are talking about how much better now it is than the bad old days. Some of my friends who live in North Kenwood, Oakland, Cocoa, and that's another story, I helped organize that. It's safer in that area, north of 47th Street, east of Cottage Grove, and west of Stony Island, west of the lake. It's safer now because the community has a feeling, has a cooperation. Their schools are better. They're the ones trying to save Diet High School from being closed. Those neighborhoods which used to be full of gangs, because of a united community, Woodlawn, this end of Woodlawn being, are now becoming safer, and the education is becoming better than it was during the gang period. Okay, some more?
What is one thing from the past that you wish stayed the same?
Repeat it.
One thing from the past that you wish stayed the same.
One thing from the past that I wish to stay the same. I wish that the unity of the community still existed like it was when I was growing up. Everyone in our community of that Woodlawn and others, we were together because my parents and many of the other parents, they wanted their children to live a better life than they had lived in the South and even in Chicago. And so that organization of being a unified community helped me to feel that I was safe and that I could do better. Now, everything wasn't perfect, but because of that unity in the community, most of the people that grew up in that community went on to practice success. By the way, every Saturday morning on 111th, a group of we men, sometimes they bring their children and their grandchildren, get together to have breakfast and talk about the good old days. You ever hear the song written by Gladys Knight? Memories, not written by her, but sung by her. Memories crowd the corners of my mind. Precious memories of the way we were. Misty waters of the smiles we left behind. Smiles we were to one another of the way we were. Could it all have been so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? And if we had the chance to do it all again, would we, could we, and I push it to you young people, should we? I say for me, yes, I would like to see the kind of life that I and my generation enjoyed come again for everybody, whether black or white or brown, because it's God's will and we deserve to be treated like human beings. We deserve to have safety. We deserve to have jobs so that we can have food and clothing and shelter, and that we can walk and talk with each other as friends rather than to be afraid or ashamed. So the period of my growing up, answer to that question, yes. When I played my old-time jazz records with Nat Cole, Step Brothers, and Duke Ellington, and all the people that I grew up with, the famous musicians, I carry my mind back to those days that I enjoyed, because that music was beautiful and gave us hope. Spirituals, gospel, jazz, blues, and tap dancing, and all of those things that we did together. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had one another. And with that companionship, we were very comfortable. We see each other on the street. We weren't afraid of one another because we knew that we were safe. Now, that I'm not saying it was perfect, but that's the way we felt, young people. And so, with the inspiration and the models that we had, you see, in my neighborhood, in my block, were doctors. I wasn't a doctor. My folks were doctors and lawyers. Their children